Before we get started tonight, ladies and gentlemen, on the episode of Fast Break on IE Sports Radio, I want to introduce you to a couple of our sponsors. First, the Southern California Warriors semi-pro football team. The world of semi-pro sports is like any other sports organizations. Players pay to play in hopes of so many different outcomes, whether it's playing to get filmed, to try out for professional teams, big-time colleges, or just playing to stay in shape. No matter what, all semi-pro players have one thing in common, and that's playing for the love of the game. The SoCal Warriors have been on a quest to earn titles and give players second chances since 2017. Whether you're in Southern California or anywhere in the world, give semi-pro sports a chance if you love your sport. You may get that second chance you've been waiting for as an athlete. You can find them on social media at SoCal Warriors, on Twitter, on Instagram at Southern California _Warriors, and on Facebook, Southern California Warriors. Background Check International. Are you looking to background check a new hire on? Let Kit Freeman take care of that for you. Kit founded and has managed Background Check International since 1994. And he's here to help you with the screening process. Contact Kit and let him make the hiring process that much easier for you. This business is used for professional background checks and not for the use of any crimes such as identity theft or any other illegal activity. You can find them on social media at Facebook at Background Check International, BCI, or on their website, bcint.com. Now on to the show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot to discuss here tonight. But first, what does the future hold for the Blazers? They're below 500, in the middle of the pack. Damian Lillard ain't playing up to snuff. What do the future hold for them? We'll discuss that. Plus, we'll go over the controversial ending in the Alabama-Houston game. Was it goaltending? Was it not? We'll dive into that. Plus, does Zion even play this season? We'll debate that. And we'll go over today's action over the NBA in college basketball. Here on Fast Break Live on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for sports. And you're welcome to join us. And join us as you shout tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. D-Lock, I know you're happy right now with the Bucks scoring a TD in overtime against the Bills. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing super good right now, man. That was I was on eggshells, pretty nervous for a minute because we blew like a 20-point lead and they took us to overtime, which we shouldn't have been in. But we pulled it out, 12. Tom Brady himself did it. But what a great way to, end the week and start, another week, man. Especially with a lot of NBA games coming up. And on top of that, after the show, at the end, I got my Magic playing against the Lakers. So my night is far from over.
Let's preview that game before we move on. Your Magic is 5-22. My team, the Lakers, is 14-13. How do you see tonight's matchup shaking out between both squads?
Well, I'm looking at this game to be a high-scoring game because, frankly, both of these teams don't play any type of defense. Now, just getting the word, the fact that for one, and we just talked about it, we'll probably talk about it a little bit later on. So, Anthony Davis, who missed previous game, I believe, against the Clippers, he was questionable prior to the game, and now officially sorry, not Clippers. OKC, he missed that game. Officially out with the same injury. So I think now more is going to be leaned on with LeBron. Probably Dwight Howard's probably going to start again. But this game is going to be pretty tight, I believe. Now Lakers are starting to get in the groove. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. But I mean, I think that the firepower that the Lakers have might be just a little too much. But we've thought that all year long. And every time we think that they play against a team like OKC and it's pretty close, or the Pistons and it's close. So this game may come down to the wire. But I expect it to be something very interesting. The guy we talked about before, we're really liking Wendell Carter. We've already extended him. But a guy me and you talked about before, Mo Bamba, I think he's going to have a big game tonight as well. So this is going to be something interesting. And Cole Anthony is looking like a future star in the making. So I think we'll see a lot of him tonight as well.
And before I get my thoughts to preview this game, I want to shout out to the chat. Shout out to Terry Rodriguez. Yes, sir. All of our teams won today. You know, granted, the Titans could have put more of a hurting on Jacksonville, but a win's a win. I'll take it as I'll take it. And shout out to Marcus Los. Great in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. Marcus brought a good point by Anthony Davis. And at point, granted, he's not playing tonight, that is really kind of worrisome for me. Worrisome. His defense, like Marcus put it, is like on put his picture on the milk carton. It's not there. He ain't, really kind of providing that play that we kind of hope as Laker fans when we got the trade. There's anything been a consistency. And this year, I don't know what it is. It's kind of turned its ugly head of him not giving his full effort. So I don't know what it is with him. I hope he figures it out. But it's just not feeling right, with the way this team's constructed. Now, we haven't seen Kendrick Nunn or Trevor Ariza yet in the fold when we bring about team defense in the Lakers. So, until we see those two gentlemen play, I reserve judgment to see the full picture. With this game against the Magic tonight, with the lesser teams, they always give the Lakers hell. You mentioned about Cole Anthony. He's having a very great year so far. It kind of sucks that, the Magic are 5-22, and I think he kind of deserves an all-star look, but I don't think they're going to happen, though, with this year. But I think the Lakers will kind of win it out, but in a close game. I think Mo Bamba and Wendell Carter might give him hell down low. And LeBron, he's got to play like 30-plus minutes.
A lot of points to team. Now, they try to play defense from time to time, but Cole Anthony is literally the guy that is like the leader and the captain of this team right now, the way he's playing, and the fact that Jonathan Isaac and Markelle Fultz are out for a while. So right now, I like the fact that they're fighting, but a lot of these games have been blowouts. And the only thing that really falls in their favor in this sense with this game is the fact that any team that looks bad that plays against the Lakers looks good. So now they're in a situation where they're going to play a team that gives teams plenty of opportunities to, play better just because of not playing defense as much. Now, granted, one person that is out is Anthony Davis, so we're going to see how that affects the Lakers as a whole, but mainly their defense. We kind of seen a little difference in them when they played against OKC. My thing is, uh, I expect this game to be pretty tight. Um, watch out for the guys like the Malik Monk, that could come off the bench. Terrence Ross. As we know, Melo looks like a new guy. Come off the bench and, you know, spark this game. So, for me, um, funny enough, I just watched the Bucks have a hell of a game. Now I get to see the Magic and the Lakers go at it. So it's gonna be very interesting, man. I think it's gonna be real high scoring. But even before that, hell, you got Portland and Minnesota, at 9. So a high scoring game leading to another high scoring game. So you got some great games tonight.
Yeah. Kind of go over the timeline right now. The Nets are in a close one with the Pistons right now, with KD so far having 45 points off of 14-26 of shooting, 9 assists. He's having a march the game for them. Kate Cunningham, 23 points so far for the Pistons. Frank Jackson for the Pistons, 22 points off the bench. Man, looking at the stat line right now, I might be wrong on Killing Hayes for the Pistons. I thought he'd be at least good, but ooh boy, it sure ain't worked out in their favor.
Right.
The Bucks defeated the New York Knicks 112-97. What's wrong with the Knicks for you? You talking about the darlings?
I think I talked about this before. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they were kind of like the darlings of last year with their play and stuff like that. And now you kind of look at it now. Kemba Walker's not starting now, and he didn't even play in today's game. Alec Burks didn't play as well. What do you think is going on with this team? And can they find his mojo back, to get back where they were last year?
My thing is, I feel like this team has the biggest problem is the fact that they have a hell of a lot of players that they're rotating. Don't forget, we remember we were seeing Kemba Walker starting, and then at some point we would see him come off the bench, and now he's even out of the rotation. For me, it seems that seems very confusing, and it seems like they're trying to find this rotation in this specific lineup that they don't have right now, or they have, but they're like jumping from one to the other. Like they're changing it up a lot. Now Taj Gibson, I think Mitchell Robinson is playing a lot better now that he's healthy. Nerlens Noel is starting to get in. Julius Randle looks a little different.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is the consistency that he was having last year. It looks like now the spotlight is on him now this year. So now they're kind of, like putting the defense towards him and focusing on him. And I think that is the difference for me. I think that now he needs to, continue to be that role, that big time player for them. And they need to have the other. It's like their rotation is kind of screwing up how they kind of move with different players. And what I mean by that is you're taking out Julius Randle at a specific time because you're bringing in Obi Toppin, you're bringing in Emmanuel Quigley, Derrick Rose. Like they have a small lineup and a bigger lineup, and I think that's affecting the rhythm that some of these players are getting. One being Julius Randle. So they have to find that. And for me, once they get that, I think they'll be fine. But hell, like I said, Kemba Walker was one of the bigger pieces that we've seen them pick up and knew what to expect from him. And now it's like we're barely seeing this guy. So now with that, Emmanuel Quigley is getting in. Obi Toppin, who we haven't even seen that much, and now it's all of a sudden earned a lot of minutes. Another person that we haven't seen that they drafted was Kevin Knox that much. So, for me, I feel like it's just chemistry, and it's hard to get that chemistry right when you're always changing the rotation and the guy that you're bringing in as far as different lineups. So once they fix that, I think they'll be fine. But it is affecting their biggest player, and Julius Randle.
Marcus brought a couple interesting points. The Knicks run into spurts where no offense kills them, and that's true. Great as the defensive strategist typically is, sometimes that offense kind of stalls out. And Julius Randle is kind of like a rhythm player. And once he gets in a little rhythm, good things happens. And Marcus will brought up, they need like a 6-man type of guy. I think that could be microwave quickly, Emmanuel quickly. I think that can be him. Just looking at the stat line, Quentin Grimes had 27 points today as a starter. So, if one or both of those guys can be those instant scorers off the bench, that'd be great. Now, granted, like I said, you had no R.J. Barrett, no Alec Burks today as well. But still, like you mentioned, Kevin Knox had 29 minutes tonight, D-Lock. And when the last time he had significant minutes like that and scoring like that? It's been a minute. So, like you mentioned, they got to figure out rotation. I know he loves Gibson. I know he does. But you got to stick with Noel and Robinson as your main bigs. Unless, foul trouble comes about. But even then, you stick with those young guys. If not, hey, play Topton at that small 5 at Spurs and see what you get. Put Randall at that small center and maybe put Kevin Knox in there. There's a lot of things you just, like you mentioned, you got to figure out about in the rotation and whatnot, and figure out with this team to get back where you were. Because
that's what I'm seeing is, last year we kind of knew how their rotation was. We see who was getting in, and now it looks like it's the total opposite of that. Sometimes we're seeing Derrick Rose get hella minutes, and sometimes we're not. Kemba was starting, getting a nice rotation, getting in minutes, and now he's not even, even considered getting minutes. So sounds a little confusing to me.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on the Knicks and see how things shape out that way. And then the Thunder and the Mavericks. Mavericks up by 10 going to the third quarter on the Thunder. 56-46. No Luka Doncic today. So you got Porzingis trying to carry the load, but he only had 7 points. Moses Brown, has 9 points off the bench to lead the squad. For the Thunder, 11 points for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 10 points for Dort. So we'll keep an eye on that game as that game gets back ready in the second half. But I think one of the main topics we want to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is the Trailblazers. They play later on tonight against the Timberwolves. That should be a very good game. But the Trailblazers has been in the news here for the past week and change. As y'all know, some of y'all know, the team president, I forget his name escapes me at the moment. He's been let go for workplace, environment. Just basically acting a fool and all that stuff. Now, you seen Dame saying, I like to play with a great defensive person. It's, all that good stuff. The team's mid. D-Lock, what should the Blazers do about their future?
Well, right now, so we hear about C.J. McCollum having I believe it was a punctured lung
Yep.
or collapsed lung. I'm sorry. So right now, if Dame is saying that he wants to be there, if he's fully committed to that, then, for one, first of all, you have to know that he's fully committed to that. He's not just blowing smoke. But if this guy's fully committed to being in Portland, you have to build around this guy and put some pieces around him, because clearly what you have right now is not working. Something is not working. Now, remember the person I was telling you all last year, and even when we first started having the show a couple years ago, I kept saying, I don't like Terry Stotts. I feel like he's a bad coach. I don't like him. There was even rumors about he might even go to Orlando, and I was like, oh, hell no. I don't want him to go. I was not on board with Terry Stotts, which I'm still not, but they're still having some similar issues right now. But at the same time, you have to give it patience and understand, okay, what is the issue, what is going on? But you got Nurkic, who was a hell of a player. C.J. McCollum, who was a hell of a player. Dame speaks for himself, hell of a player. You got a roster that we're trying to figure out, why is it not working? So for me, for one, and the reason why this is a big thing to a lot of people and it's being talked about is because there's a superstar that's available. And he is known for his defense. Now, I was having this conversation with my friends, and, they're high on the fact that they feel like Ben Simmons is trash. They feel like he's not that good. He would do more damage with Philly than help. Well, at this point, if you look at Philly right now, the defense has taken a huge drop back since he's left. They're right now, 3 games above 500.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they were in a better situation last year, record-wise. I believe they were first in the East last year.
Yep.
So, even though they do have a star in Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey is coming to his own. Seth Curry is who he is. Tobias, they're missing that defensive presence in Ben Simmons. Let's just be honest. Okay, we can talk about what happened in the playoffs against the Hawks. We can talk about the shots, the missed layup. They're missing that defensive presence on that team, and it's going to show during the playoffs. So for me, what team we know that plays late, that if you play FanDuel and you load up against their team, you're going to score a lot of points? Portland Trail Blazers, because their defense is trash. So now you have opportunity to get a player at the caliber, on the defensive caliber, at high caliber defensive player as such Ben Simmons is, and put him on your team. They need to try to find a way to make this move. Young guy, you can build around him, and you have Dame. You know what Dame time is. So with Dame time there, you're not relying on Ben Simmons to be taking no damn shots. We're not having this conversation in Portland about him giving shots to Dame, because that's going to be expected. I believe you messaged me if I had told you about this situation, and so I think you kind of see him as a Draymond, they'll talk about it. They feel like they see Dame sees Ben Simmons as if his Draymond type of player. What it means by that is he's going to be the one that's, operating a lot of stuff, telling people where to go, setting up the defense, helping around the different things as far as grabbing boards and assists and stuff like that, and not necessarily taking all the shots. So that's something that needs to be considered. They need to look and try to find a way to get that. Now, clearly, Portland has said that they're not giving away. There's no way in hell they're trading Dame, which, agreed. But they're still in trade talks. That means that there's some kind of trade or players that they're considering. Now, I think I told you before, I had said, you know what? I think that there's going to be a 3-team trade.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be another team involved into this trade, because right now I think there's the players there between the two, but I think they're going to add in another team to bring in maybe a pick or two, a couple of picks, or bring in another player to swap in this move. So there's a lot of different things that's going to happen with that, and I believe that's going to happen pretty soon. It's just right now, that's what Portland needs to consider because right now, like your plans with Dame is not like eventually at some point, he's going to be dedicated, but dude wants to win a title. Everybody wants to be a champ, and if he's saying that he wants to do it in Portland, why not help this guy get there? And that's what I think they should do. Try to find a way to get Ben Simmons.
For me, I mean, even all this stuff going on in the front office and whatnot, it kind of goes back to Paul Allen died. As y'all know, Paul Allen made his coins while he's working with Microsoft, became a billionaire, and then owned the Trailblazers and Seahawks in the NFL. When he died a while back, I think you kind of felt, some, how can I put it, like a damper on the franchise in a sense, or maybe like, not as much as a focus. Like, some of y'all say in the chat, they should have kept Melo. Should let, kept Batum and others. Now, you've seen reports saying that, since he died, the sister has taken over the team. And she's not really she's not really investing in like that. And since she really isn't invested, then, everybody else is, not, clicked in like they should be. Like Marcus pointing out, people trying to blame Chauncey what's going on. I agree. This roster has kind of been stagnant for a good while. And also kind of been snake bitten as well.